Hey, it's Agnes Rogan, and I want to invite you into a conversation of wisdom. Today, we're going to be talking about marriage and relationships. So go ahead and sit down and roll up close. You want to hear this. Strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me. It's Love Month. I am so excited to dive into love, marriage, relationships, and just all things family. Before we get in, there's something that you say about marriage and how it's not a contract, it's a covenant. Can you lead? Can you tell the people about this covenant and who the covenant is with? Because you made a good point about how people that are not in this covenant are, insignificant is the word that you use. So I want you to elaborate. What is this covenant versus contract?
So often we enter into marriage and we think that it's just a contract. Like we get married, we sign all the papers. But really, when you stand up before God, in the presence of your family, you talk about a covenant. You've made a covenant with your husband. I've made a covenant with my husband in front of family and friends. And this is a covenant that you have made a promise to God that you're going to love, honor, respect, be a part of this life and this family until death do you part. So that's really important. And sometimes we forget because the world really seems to celebrate divorces and separations. That's something that's to be honored or respect when someone says, oh, well, I couldn't take it. I couldn't handle it. I had to get out. But people don't talk about the people who stay in it for the long haul. They're in it just till God just calls one of us to rest. So that's very important that divorce is never an option. Never. Say that again. Divorce is never an option.
Divorce is never an option.
Never an option.
So if you are in a covenant that's built upon God and you make a promise, you have to settle in your mind, your heart, that divorce is never an option. And when I heard you say this, I knew then again that our spirits align and that I could give you my ear because this is something that my pastor has preached for the 2 decades that I've been in my church.
I'm sure.
That when he needed to hear his pastor say that divorce was not an option. And he lived by that. And they too have been married now over 40 years with 4 adult children and still in ministry. But they had to settle that no matter what we go through, no matter the wins, no matter how uncomfortable, it's not an option.
It's not even on the table for discussion.
Ooh.
So at the when I'm going to leave, I'm going to take my kids. It's never an option for that. Divorce is on the table.
Wow.
And and we didn't discuss infidelity. We didn't even discuss that early on in marriage. No one discusses that like that could be an option, even though biblically that's a reason.
Yeah.
But I personally, we've talked about this, Aggie. I don't believe that I don't believe that if you step out the marriage, that's automatically grounds for divorce. I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. I've seen through my years of being with married couples where there was adultery and they just stepped out. I can't deal with this. He's out, no. And you talk to them 20 years later, and I did talk to one of my girlfriends 20 years later, and I said, do you wish you would have stayed? And she said, yes.
Wow.
For the sake of my children, I should have stayed. Wow. We should have worked through it. We should have worked through it. There were things that I did wrong in the marriage that caused our breakdown. But I didn't take responsibility. I just laid it all on him. She said, but looking back now at my children who are adults with a broken home, I wish I would have stayed.
Wow.
So therefore, that's really something that people don't think about because they're so mad in the moment. They feel so betrayed, and they just can't get through it. But but if divorce is not an option, then that's just something.
Then that means we got to work through, figure out how we're gonna get over it. How we're gonna get through this. This is not an option. So that means that we need to figure out how do we move forward.
How do we move forward in a relationship? So that's really important that you figure that out coming in the door.
Absolutely.
And that has to be a combined decision that you all make together as a family.
Yes.
That this is something
that we both say
right.
that it's not an option.
It's not an option.
So we don't, when things get hard or we disagree, we run to, like you said, it's not even on the table.
No, it's not on the table. It shouldn't even
come up in our minds.
That's right. It should not. It should not.
That's really good.
Many people think that marital problems are marital problems and we just can't get along and we have problems. No, they're not. They're really covenant problems. They're not marital problems. They're covenant problems because that means you haven't grown enough in this to be able to say, if he's sick, if he's broken down, if he can't speak to me, if he can't talk to me, if there's an issue or a problem, I'm just going to pray my way through it. Most of us are not willing to do that.
So you're saying that marital problems are not marital problems.
They're covenant
It's covenant problems.
Yes.
But you were very specific about
Yes.
when you make a covenant, you're making it to God.
Yes.
So if you're having those issues,
Yes.
could it be exposing your relationship with God or
Absolutely.
your trust?
Your trust and your faith in God, that God is
Okay.
going to work through whatever the
Wow.
issue is,
Right.
whatever the problem is. God
Right.
can solve this problem. You take it to Him and you leave it with Him. Will things be better the first day? No. The second day? No. The next week? Maybe not. But you're trusting God with it.
That's right.
You're trusting God, and you're loving based on principle, not on feelings or emotions.
Wow.
Because they change constantly.
Wow. So you're loving based on principle,
Not
feelings
no.
or emotions.
Not emotions.
Which reminds me again,
Yes.
while we're here today, is because Titus 2 tells the older women to teach
Yes.
the younger women
Yes.
how to love their husbands,
Yes.
how to love their children.
Yes.
So give me examples of ways, principles of loving husbands.
Principally loving husbands mean, of course, we talked about the 80-20. And of course, you're doing 80% of the work and he's doing 20% of the work. And that sometimes seems unfair. But I think that when you look at the bigger picture of the things that are on his shoulders and the responsibilities that he carries, because he carries responsibilities that you can't even imagine. I mean, if the furnace goes out or the cars break down, those are responsibilities that lays on his shoulders. He's not going to come to you and say, hey, this is the problem, this is this. He's not going to come and do that. He's going to have to figure this out.
That's
He's
right.
going to work through it. He's going to have to figure out how to keep his job so that you can keep your house. Those are burdens that are on him.
Wow.
Your burdens deal with the kitchen. Your burden deals with the stove. Your burdens deal with other issues, but that has nothing to do with the 80-20. I think that part of it means, God, I'm going to love my husband through this issue. I'm going to love him through the confusion. I'm going to love him through the problem, and I'm not going to complain and I'm not going to whine. I'm going to be committed even when things are going terribly wrong.
That's really, really good.
When things are going terribly wrong, when we're not speaking, when we're not talking, when I don't feel the love from him. I know that God has placed us together, so we're going to work through it. And God is going to see me through it. And I'm just going to pray my way through it. Yes.
That was great.
Yes.
That takes me to ask you, how can a woman resolve conflict with a husband without stepping into that clamorous spirit? Because the episode prior, we talked about a clamorous spirit and how that's a loud, confused, always, I guess, nagging. So if a woman has an issue or if there is a conflict, how can she approach her husband? How can they resolve it without her seeming like she's nagging?
Be quiet. Just be quiet.
Wow. Okay.
If the spirit and the atmosphere is not receptive for the conversation, be quiet.
Be quiet.
Be quiet. Go pray about it and come back another time. Revisit it. Just be quiet.
Just be quiet.
Sometimes it's difficult for women to be quiet because you want to resolve the issue, you want to go on, you want to settle it, and you want his attention, you want his time, you want his energy. You have to make sure that the atmosphere is right for the conversation. You know, as a married woman, you know sometimes pillow talk is important talk. And maybe early in the morning, maybe you can resolve it, but not in the evening when he's tired. There are times for conversations. And they will let you know when they're receptive for the conversation. And if you see that they're not, if it's becoming quarrelsome, be quiet. Be quiet. Just be quiet.
So here you are schooling us and giving us lessons about just be quiet.
Just be quiet.
Everything doesn't need to be fixed right away.
Correct. It doesn't. And it doesn't have to be.
Because he may not even have the capacity to receive what it is that may be bothering you.
No. And then the issues that you're having are not his issues that he might be having at the time. So he might be worried about other things, other health issues, family issues, his parents' issues that might be burdening him. But then they don't always talk about the things that are burdening them. But here you are now with more issues and you want to talk about this. And sometimes you have to read your man, read the circumstances and say, hey, I need to just sit on this for a minute. And then because he won't discuss it, rub his back at night and pray over him that he'll be receptive to the conversation tomorrow. Because some things we think we can handle because we're super women, but we cannot. There are God-sized problems and issues that deal with your husband, especially if he's not being receptive to conversations that you know need to be had. It's a God-sized problem. And God needs to help you resolve it. Not you, not me, God.
And that takes us into like emotional management and tone. You were even, I mean, over the course of time, I mean, you have talk to me about tone and how to
Yes. Oh
approach
my
your husband
goodness.
and how to
Yes.
like lay your hand on his arm when
Yes.
talking. Just like these things. I mean,
Yes.
some people are not receiving this type of instruction or guidance in even how to relate to the husband.
Sometimes when the tonation doesn't work, you sit near him. You have conversations with your hand on his knee. Even if it's a heated discussion, you must touch some part of him. Touch some part of him. That took me 25 years into the marriage to be able to figure that part out. When George and I are having an issue, I go and sit beside him. I sit close to him. It's difficult to be in just super heated argument discussion.
So you were saying how important it is to never leave the bedroom when you've had a heated moment or a heated discussion. You know, sometimes you're not seeing eye to eye. You're like, you know what, you go sleep on the couch. You go here, you know, because it's like, I don't want to be around you, you know, and maybe he may feel like I don't want to be around you. And so it's easy for me to hang here.
Yes.
But you're saying it's important that no matter what the disagreements are, that you stay in the room. Never leave the room.
Never leave the bed. Never leave your marital bed. Once you leave your marital bed, it's easy for you to just migrate into other parts of the house, into a hotel, into a relative's home.
Wow.
It's easy to move away. So you need to stay there because through the night, the Holy Spirit can soften things. In the morning, you have a different perspective.
Yeah.
And you need to come together in the morning and say, you know, that wasn't the right thing for me to say. But if you're not, then your heart is hardened through the night. You're mad because they're not there. He's mad. And the Lord can't work with you there. So it is my opinion. And in all the years we have been married, we have never had an argument, well, he's gone to another bed or I've not gone to a different room in 48 years of marriage. And I think that may have contributed to us staying together so long is because we didn't flee, even when the issues were so hot and heavy.
Wow,
and sometimes it can be really heated and really hot and heavy, but you just don't do that.
You just don't flee because
just don't flee.
proximity is important.
Proximity
Staying
is
as
really
close
important.
to each other, even though you want to go opposite direction, it's important for you still to be in close. Because
proximity.
you said it makes it easy. So
It does.
if you're on the couch tonight, you may be in the guest room. The next week, you may go to a hotel, and next thing you know, you're gone.
That's true.
Because
stay
it
together.
gets easier.
It gets so easy to be without them.
That's really
One of the things, too, that we've done for 48 years is we always hold hands.
Okay.
We've been holding hands for now over 50 years.
Wow.
And so whenever we go out anywhere, no matter where we're going, he has my hand, I have his hand. We hold hands constantly. Just going out to dinner, going to the grocery store, just going to church. We hold hands.
So touch as much as you can.
It's really important.
As often as you can.
As often as you can.
Okay.
Even though I know our hands are older, wrinkled, smaller, but we've been holding hands since high school. So that's really,
that's perfect.
I think that's important. Precious, I think it is. Spending time together, doing just things that are just fun things together.
Fun things.
Fun things together. If I would have, looking back, 20 years, I wish I'd done things differently. Having more fun with my husband. I think we would have had a much richer sex life had we done more of that. I think that's important. I think don't lose with the children. Don't lose yourself and don't lose the marriage with children and bills and issues and problems. Don't lose yourself. Don't lose yourself with the intimacy. Go away with your husband, away from the children. To stay here in Nashville or stay in your own hometown. Go away and spend a weekend without the children.
Okay.
That's really important to spend that close, intimate time. If nothing physical is happening, just the intimacy of being close together.
Yes. And without the kids.
Without the children. Without the children is so important.
And I like how you said don't lose yourself in the grind.
That's true.
In raising the kids and building the business and paying the bills to where we're just passing each other and we may seem like we're good partners, but we're losing the fun and the passion.
And a lot of couples they don't leave the bedroom, but they're laying there with resentment and hate toward each other. So they're sleeping in the same bed every night, but it's not a marital bed because they're filled with so many unresolved issues that neither one of them will leave each other, but they just stay together and be miserable.
Wow.
They stay together and they're for 30 years and miserable all 30 years. So, and that's the worst part of our life in a relationship is to be with partner and not have love or respect or fun or intimacy. That's a real problem. It's a real
really
problem.
good.
It is. Yes, it is.
Oh, that's great.
I'm
just like,
thing. Yeah. Yes. So
just like want to stay there. So what are some things? It's Love Month. It's February.
Yes.
There are, people that are engaged. There are people that are married 5 years, 10 years, 50. What are some things that they can do practically to keep the flames burning?
You don't believe it. A couple of months ago, I saw this online and I said to my husband, I said, George, why don't we try this? A 30-day challenge.
Okay.
30-day. And I'm challenging you and your husband and anyone who's listening.
Okay.
No name calling, no sarcasm, no scorekeeping. Replace all of those things with intentional blessings. Compliment even the small things. I love the way you wash those dishes and put them away. I thank you so much for cleaning the car out. I thank you so much for bringing in the laundry. I thank you so much for just taking out that trash. You are just my man. And of course, saying I love you every single day.
Okay.
Every single day. And I don't care if you have to text it, write it on the mirror in the bathroom, somewhere. Make sure I love you comes out every single day.
I think this
With
is a great challenge.
intentionality. Yes,
I think
it is
that
a challenge.
we can
30
challenge
days. Yes.
everybody.
Yes.
Okay. I
30
was just
days.
looking for like one tip.
No.
But she has given us
Yes.
a 30-day challenge for
Yes.
Love Month.
Yes.
And you said no sarcasm.
No sarcasm.
No name
No
calling.
name calling. No scorekeeping language.
No scorekeeping language.
No.
So you remember you
Replace
did
all
this
of that.
last week
Yes,
and you
yes,
said this.
yes.
No scorekeeping.
No.
And
No.
I love it. She doesn't say no.
Right.
No doing all these things. She said to replace it
Replace
with
it with
compliments.
compliments.
Affirmations.
That's right.
I love yous every
I love you
day.
every day. Every day.
Seeing the small
Yes.
things and acknowledging it.
Acknowledging it.
And I think a lot of marriages will be a lot better after
lot
these 30
better.
days.
That's true.
And you said it will even ignite that fire to
That's
where
right.
you want to be around each
That's
other and
correct.
things are more passionate.
That's correct.
Okay. Well, I think that's great.
Yes,
I think
I
we
love
have
that.
some great tips.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you want to add? Did you finish telling us about the covenant?
The covenant, I think, is so important if we remember that. And if we remember that we say, I do every day instead of just back at the altar. 30, 45 years ago, I do. You say, I do every single day. I do. And it's not based on emotions because the covenant is between you and God and then you and your spouse. And that covenant must stay intact, in place. And you really don't want to even talk with your husband until you've had personal time with God yourself in the morning. You have your own personal worship and then you meet with your husband.
Okay.
And that covenant will stay strong.
Okay.
That covenant will stay intact. And that covenant will not leave, even after 49 and 50 years of marriage.
This has been excellent. I have so
Thank you.
enjoyed our conversation
Thank you.
today.
I had to.
You dropped so many
Thank
great
you.
nuggets,
Thank
and
you.
I
Thank
hope
you.
that you all have enjoyed it as well. Thank you so much for tuning into our conversation of wisdom today. We all received a 30-day challenge. No sarcasm, no name calling, no scorekeeping language. But we're going to affirm, we're going to compliment, and we are going to say, I love you every day. I think that if we implement this for 30 days, that all of our marriages will look splendid come March. And so if you're enjoying this content, please comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll keep it coming.